welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. And this is our second review of our little Maryland excursion. So if you missed it, we just did Markov's Haunted Forest, but in this review, we are going to be discussing Laurel's House of Horror and Laurel, Maryland.
Yeah.
Which is also where we stayed. It was nice because this was like 7 minutes away from our hotel. Yay, us. So that was convenient for us. So I didn't really know much about this one at all going in, but we were like, Markov's is huge. We want to do a second one. And Maryland's one of those places where like all the haunts close at 10 or 10:30.
Yeah.
But this one is open till 11, and it's right by our hotel, so we're like, well, that should be easy to do that as our second haunt for that night. And it is inside of an old movie theater in like a strip mall.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had actually heard like some stuff about this place.
I had a little bit,
And it just kind of intrigued me. And when I found out that it was like literally like right next to where our hotel was, I was like, yeah, let's go to this one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this one I'm kind of excited to talk about. So we'll just kind of get right into it, which of course, as always, means we must refer to the Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead.
So like we said, this is in an old movie theater in a strip mall.
That's where it is.
So you actually have a queue line outside. It is covered. So just in case the elements try to get at you.
Most of it would be covered. I guess if it's really long, then it wouldn't be. But
yeah. They did have a DJ playing music while we were waiting. Yeah. And they had some queue line actors and stuff like that too, to keep you entertained and all that fun jazz. The theater lobby was really neat.
Yeah, so like how they do it is they kind of pulse you into the indoor waiting room.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in the theater lobby, it's the haunt hasn't begun yet. That's like where you wait before you go in. But they had a whole bunch of like newer and older horror movie posters. And something that's a theme throughout the haunt, but you really notice it when you first walk in, is whatever they've done to the walls in this place.
Yeah.
To make it look like everything is just like, it's the best way I can describe the way like most of this place looks is if a building was falling apart and then time stopped.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
It looked like, from what I took from it and how they did it, was they actually kind of mimicked the actual walls with like maybe like blank like wallpaper,
like a latex mix or something. I don't really know what it is.
And then they put it up there and they just kind of let it crinkle and curl and fall off. So like it was just kind of like it looked like the walls were literally just really coming apart at you.
Yeah.
The queue line inside is around a the old concession stand, which I actually think is kind of cool because it was like a 4-sided concession stand.
Yes, it's a big concession stand, which, and they just kind of use that as the waiting line, and it really does. And, like, I don't know if this is what they were going for, but there are multiple themes, and it almost is like maybe this is, like, the theme of different, like, movies or something. I don't know, but I kind of like that. I will say, I adore the aesthetics of this place.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been to a haunt that had the same atmosphere as this does, where it's like, man, I'm trying to think of something that I can kind of akin it to, but like it's like very somber feeling the environment is.
I kind of want to say it kind of reminds me of the old Scare House.
You know, it does, like the Scare House before it moved into the mall.
Yes.
It does have this feeling, and like there are so many cool sets, but we'll kind of go in order here. So the first theme is the Carlisle Hotel.
Yes. So you, of course, come into this hotel. You're greeted at the lobby desk by somebody, and
real cool opening scene too. It's big.
Yeah. That's the thing I really liked, is that every like theme that you went into, it was just like a grandiose set that you went into each time, and then it kind of like you went into little areas within that little theme or whatever. So yeah, you're in a hotel, they're having a big party. I think it's supposed to be like New Year's or something. So there's a lot of people like partying in this hotel, and the terrain is really strange, especially because you're in a building.
And why I assume that, and so yeah, there's a lot of like, not like super elevated, and I don't know if it's handicap accessible, but it feels like it could be because it's all like ramps.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of up and downs, and I think that's because most of the haunt is in theater rooms.
Yeah.
So they've like kind of had to make their own level and not level floors to navigate you around the space. But it really does add to the atmosphere because yeah, you're going down and you're going back up, and yeah, I really like the way that you explored it. It kind of threw you off because you never really know exactly like what direction you're even going in exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the hotel theme, you do kind of like go into like different hotel rooms. There's a ballroom scene that I believe had like a fallen chandelier. There's a cool pool room theme, which kind of has like a whole boat in it. I don't really know why, but it is the pool because there was an actor stating it's the pool room scene, which is why I know that it was the pool room. There is even I don't know I think it was in the hotel. I don't remember, but there was like a magician's room theme. That was cool.
Yeah. The sign for the hotel kind of
like
crashed through the ceiling. So it's like you actually have to walk around this giant neon sign, which is really cool. It just was every scene was just so elaborate and just it made you like really have to look around, which really did give an advantage to the actors because they were able to kind of scare you because you were just like so.
And they only really once, but I did really like when they did it used an actual theater without doing that much to it. So there is a spot where you go in and there is like a huge like cool like chandelier thing that's like crashed in the middle of the theater. And I think it was playing a movie of some sort. I don't remember what, but I do think it was playing like some kind of horror movie on there.
Yeah, it was playing something black and white. I don't recall what it was, but it was playing something.
Yes. Yeah. And this was a cool interaction with actors. We'll get to in actors, but this room was focused a lot on that. But it's cool because they make you like walk down around this crash chandelier, then back up, all the way back up, and then back down again. And they do this a lot in the space. They create this really awesome space, and then they make a way that kind of forces you to like navigate in the space for a prolonged period of time instead of just walking through the space, which is something I love when haunts do it because like obviously you can't, when you're doing like a normal haunt, not like a lights on tour or something, you can't really stop and look at stuff. But when you're forced to be in that space for an amount of time, when you're people like us, you do get to appreciate more of the nuances with all the work they put in. And this is something they do time and time again here, which I really, really like.
Yes. So that was one of the themes, was the movie theater. Then it moved on to like an asylum theme. There were mattresses all over the walls, and there were like, some crazy people running amok and such like that. And then we got to this weird area that I guess it was cannibals in like
Sinners for Dinner.
Sinners for Dinner area is what we have listed as the notes. They kept hollering that. There was like a collapsed church. There was a farmhouse you kind of walk into.
Yeah. And the farmhouse was cool. But the collapsing church area is really cool because, there were a lot of like I don't know what you call like the pillars that were like falling. And then, you go into the room with the house you're talking about. But it's cool because there's like a whole courtyard to the house facade. And like you have to weave again in and out of that. And they have like cool like an arch of jack-o'-lanterns you have to like walk under and stuff. So that was really beautiful as well, and like it's lit all blue, and this could probably go in actors, but it was almost like part of the scene. She wasn't trying to scare, but she is like, there was a person, it almost reminded me a little bit the way it was lit of in Halloween Horror Nights right this year on Dead Man's Pier, where there's a lady up on the ship playing the violin.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was like all white, and she was just ringing a bell as you move through, and she almost looked like a statue, which is why I'm talking about it here. So that was really neat. And then, of course, you go into the house, and there's like traditional-ish like kind of theming there.
Yeah.
And then the last theme, which is probably my least favorite, but still done well, is the clown theme.
Yes.
I'd almost describe this as like junkyard clowns.
Yeah, because it was like there was like tires and like giant like metal canisters and just like a bunch of stuff, and then like clowns and like clown music and things like that. It was really strange.
It was very purposely like trashy looking, like in a carnival way, which I liked. The reason I do say this is my least favorite is this is when you get like your kind of like small blackout maze. Some of the stuff you can tell that it's straight up plywood for the walls. And in my opinion, out of all the other beautiful sets and props and beautiful lighting, this one was almost kind of lit with just like straight like normal lighting almost.
Yeah, it was really bright.
Yeah, and it didn't fit, in my opinion, the rest of the haunt. It didn't flow, and I think that, and again, it wasn't bad. It is one of the better haunt, or the better like clown themes I've seen for the most part. But I really do wish that it was just something else entirely that kind of fit the rest of the theme a little bit better. But overall, we really like the sets and props of this place. One of the most unique ones we've been to, I think, in quite a while. We gave it a 9.5. Yes, very, very impressed by that. Now, we do want to mention, before we go on to actors and the rest of the categories, we do have our merch line. If you're interested in that, I'm sure this thing's playing right now on the screen. Yep, Kim is wearing the shirt. It has the jack-o'-lanterns that have been flanking us for the last couple years. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, bags, whatever. Also, if you want to help support us, we have a patron. You can join that. There's like different monthly tiers you can choose from, but basically it's to help support us. But there's also like little presents, if you call them that you can get for being on those tiers. You can also choose to leave us a tip called Super Thanks on YouTube, just a little way you can give us a one-time thing to help us out. And another thing that really helps us out is letting us know what kind of content you would like to see. As we move out of haunt season, we can't always make haunted house videos. We've talked about lights on tours. We know that some people are interested in that, and we would like to do that, but what are some other ideas? We'd like to go to the actual haunted places. Maybe we'll do more of that next year. I don't know what happened. Like, time just kind of got away from us, and we didn't do that. We were doing the podcast. It's kind of been on a hiatus for the moment. Let us know if that is something you would like to see us start doing again. Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Oh, my.
Because that is something that, we kind of enjoy doing, but a lot of work and research went into it for not many views or subscribers. So we do have the podcast. You can check that out. It's on all major podcast things. Again, it's called Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Oh, my.
You can check that out. But that being said, we will now move on to actors.
All right. So, like we said a little bit in sets and props, there were some like little bit of a dead areas and stuff, but the actors that were in certain areas were actually pretty entertaining. Very interactive. A lot of energy, especially this one kid. They had really good hiding spots, and they were able to get you in numerous spots as well. So they had like that ability where they could weave in and out really quick.
Well, yeah, one thing they were really good at here was having dialogue. Almost all of them talk to you in some way, albeit a couple of them are more just being creepy, which I'll get to that guy. But like when you first enter, even like the hotel, like, what do you want to call it? Hostess, whatever. She greets you and has a whole spiel. But yeah, they really do like follow you around a lot, and they have so many places they can weave in and out. And you watch them go somewhere, and you're like, oh, where are they going to scare me at? Because I do think they did a good job. Like, we were separated pretty well. Like, we did catch up a few times, but that was the other thing that was really cool, was the actors saw that, and multiple of them like purposely did things to stop that from happening.
Yes, which I do like a lot.
At one point, a guy literally, he scared Kim in the theater room. Like, I didn't even see him at all, and he popped out of nowhere. I think he was just standing there, and I just did not see him.
He was pretending to be a statue.
I didn't even notice him. He scared Kim, and then he got in front of us and the other group and sat there, and he asked us if we knew a joke, and we said no. And well, he told us one, and I'm not going to repeat the joke, but it was so raunchy. I was like, oh my god.
I probably blushed. Like, that's how raunchy the joke was.
It was real raunchy. I'm not going to say it on the YouTube channel, but there was no kids in our group, I'll say that. But yeah, and I really appreciated how they did that and how they were really interactive. The bartender, I do remember, it was cool. Oh, and then Kim's favorite thing, and then she had to buy one the next day.
So yeah. The latest thing is buying these giant fans.
Well, I don't know if I'd say the latest thing. I know you said this is really one of the only haunts I've seen it in yet. But
I've seen it pop up in quite a different POVs of different haunts in the last couple years as people using these as props in haunted houses for scares. And it's the big giant fans that, like, you just go foom like that, and it just makes this loud ass noise. And it does scare you.
Yeah.
It legit, like, you don't expect it. You see them flick their hand, and you're like, what are they doing? And then it's just like this big, like, boom noise. And it's amazing. Yeah. And it does really, really scare you. But yeah, somebody did that. And
there's a couple of them in here, yeah. Which fits because the most of them are in the hotel, which I think is probably 1950s was when it was. I think it's probably when it was based. Somewhere.
I think so. It was then. Like an earlier,
Yeah. But that is something else that was really cool is so many of the actors had some kind of thing that would make a noise to enhance the scare. Mm-hmm. Like the bartender's cocktail shaker had like stones or something in it, so when she would go like this, it would make a loud noise, you know.
The clowns in the clown junkyard, they were banging on, you know, their metal pipes on things and stuff like that, making a lot of noise. Yeah, everybody had like a really good way of making jump noises.
And the magician was really cool inside of the magician room.
Yeah, he kept trying to get everybody to guess what card he had, and you wouldn't even barely get the thing out, like your guess out, and he's like, no!
Yeah.
Next! No! Next!
Yeah. It was like, wait a minute, that's not how magic works. But yeah, then there was this guy in the Jebediah area or the Sinners for Dinner area, and he just kept getting me over and over again. He was kind of a smaller, like, skinny guy, and, like, he didn't really talk at all, but he would just, like, freak out and thrash about, run, and just be somewhere else. Like, I'd say, like, he, like scared us, like, 4 or 5 times.
He just was all over the place. And it was funny because at one point we got into the house, because he was outside and he was scaring us in that area, like in the courtyard area. We get in the house and he's literally sitting in a chair, and you could just see that he is like out of breath, and he's just resting for like literally seconds because he sees us come in, and you see him, he's like and he sees us and he just starts going again, and he just like runs at us and runs around the room, and we're just like,
yeah,
okay, who gave him a Red Bull?
Yeah, he was going crazy. We really liked the theater people. We had kind of mentioned them earlier. Mm-hmm. They had this whole spiel, and they didn't really it was kind of cool because there was a mixture of like ones that would do jump scares and ones that was like almost if like you were like walked in on their residual haunting or something.
Yeah.
And they were walking, and basically the whole time, this couple they were having this conversation about like how they were going to kill us.
Yeah.
How they're going to do it. Like they told Kim that she had a pretty face, so they'd make sure to only mutilate her body, but they would keep her head. They would like put her on a pike or whatever. But yeah, they were just going down the round for each of us, like how they were going to kill us, but like almost like they're telling us it in a very polite way, not like an intimidating way. Like they were like artists, be like, oh, well, for this one, I think we should do this. What do you think? You know, and I just thought, I don't know, it was really eerie. And they just, because again, you're in this theater for a while as you're weaving in and out, and they're just kind of following you around, just, you know, antagonizing you the whole time. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one dark area that was in the clown, was that in the,
that was in the
clown area. So this one clown girl, we get into this area, and it's like a pitch black like little corridor area, and she's like, watch out, the floor is slippery.
Yeah, and I'm like, huh?
What?
And it's those like tiles that move.
Yeah, and it's those little shifting tiles.
And of course I scream, and and then I hear her scream, I told you the floors are slippery. And I'm like, I guess you did.
Yeah, thanks for the notice.
But yeah, actors we thought were absolutely great, and also their costuming and makeup was just phenomenal. Like I said, there might have just been a couple dead areas, and
the people in the Jebediah area, and I brought it out for my ringing of bells.
Oh, yeah, they all had cowbells. That was their thing of choice. That was their thing of choice. Yes. But yeah, we really liked the actors, and we gave them a 9.75. Yeah, overall, we thought they did a really good job, and we really liked the energy and just like the production and like theatrics that they had going on.
So that brings us to scare factor. Like we said, they had a lot of really good jump scares. Scared you really well with lots of loud noises, the cowbells, whatever. They do not touch here. They get close, but they do not touch. There wasn't a lot of gore. I think the only real gore I
not a
saw
lot.
was like in the house.
Yeah, because there was like a kitchen scene.
Yeah. The actors do tend to like kind of follow you around. They got us in multiple areas. So that was cool. But it was fairly scary. I thought it was
there was
pretty
quite
decent.
a few jump scares. They got us quite a few times, and they got Kim a couple times, and I think that one guy that did jump out with the cane even got a small scream out of you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Overall, we thought it was pretty scary, more so than I expected it to be. Because I had heard, and again, I didn't know much, but I had heard it was a little bit more on the theatrics, so I was expecting more of that. But I think there was a real good mix of like high startle scares, and especially because again, it really is amazing how much it adds when they give them things that make noises like that, because it just really like enhances the scare. At least for me, it does. You know, everyone might be different, but yeah.
So we gave Scare Factor an 8.5. That brings us to value. It took us about 20 minutes to walk through the haunt.
Yep.
It was $35 for general admission. It's $25 extra for the Fast Pass. They do also have add-on things if you wanted to do this. They have escape rooms, and supposedly the theater is haunted, so they do have paranormal tours as well.
So as far as I understand from reading the website, and I didn't put the prices down, but as far as the paranormal tours, like you get a VIP ticket to the haunt, and then after the haunt closes for that night is when the paranormal tours will begin. And so I don't know when the last guest goes. But if they close at 11, I probably assume the last person probably goes in around midnight or so. So I don't know how long the paranormal tours go. We didn't look into it that much. As far as escape rooms, I do believe they are open year-round, but during haunt season, you can only do it as like a combo with the haunt ticket. I could not find a way to just get escape room tickets during haunt season.
Okay.
I do think that 20 minutes is longer than I expected this thing to be.
Yes.
I expected it to be like a, 10 to 15 minutes somewhere in that haunt. So the fact that it was 20 minutes, and again, a lot of that's because of how expertly designed they've used these big showpiece rooms with like weaving in and out. It really adds. And the fact that the actors are so interactive and will kind of like hold and space you out. It is a little pricey. $35 for general is quite a bit, and $25 more for Fast Pass is pretty expensive. I do think that you are paying for quality here, though.
Yeah.
But we did give it an 8. The only reason it's not higher is just because 35 is kind of high, but an 8's still high, and I do recommend paying that to see this because I think that the haunt was very good.
Yeah. So that brings us to our overall score, and we gave them a 9.25.
Yeah. I think this one's probably the biggest surprise that we had on our trip.
Yeah.
We pretty much liked, at least somewhat, all of them. But this one, it was probably the one I had the least expectations for. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, I just didn't know much about it.
Right.
So going into it, I'm just like, and especially like when you see, like when you walk up to it, you're like, oh yeah, this looks kind of cute. But like as soon as you walk inside, I'm like, I think this might be good because I really like the vibe that's going on just in the queue line, and I was right. But yeah, have you guys been there? What did you think about it? Leave us in the comments and let us know. Where would you like to see us go in future years? Because this is pretty much the last round of reviews we're going to have. But do stay tuned because we're going to be going to the home haunts. The weekend that you're probably watching this is when we're going to the home haunts, and then that'll be up the following week. We're going to film some different of those and some yard haunts. So let us know any of those you might want to see if it's in the Cleveland area, because that's where we'll be venturing. And maybe do a blackout haunt. I don't know. Would anybody be interested in that? Because I know there's a lot of haunts in the first week in November doing the blackout one. I know my coworkers doing the one in Chippewa.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, do that with the touch pass. There's a flashlight. That might be fun. Yeah, let us know if you want to see us do one of those. I think that it might be fun. We've never actually done a true blackout haunt. Like, we've been to the ones that's the theme, but we've never went to a blackout event, actually. I've never been to one.
No. Yeah, no, we never.
So that might be kind of interesting. So maybe we'll do that. But of course, we're also going to have our Haunt of the Year award. So make sure you make sure you watch out for that. And of course, the other reviews, which will be Nevermore and Bennett's Curse.
Yep.
But thank you very much for watching. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, and also ringing that notification bell. Kim finally gets to ring the cowbell.
Dinner for sitters.
Oh my gosh. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.